There are a few picks in League of Legends that are especially strong in solo queue but never see competitive play, and today we're going to be covering one of those picks. Tryndamere is one of these picks, and he's always been strong in solo queue without ever really being too broken where he attracts bans. Tryndamere is one of the most consistent champions in the game, and his kit is very simple and straightforward, meaning his win rate is always going to be relatively the same no matter what, and Riot isn't really going to change him. For this reason, if you are a top laner looking to pick up a champion that isn't going to go out of meta in the next few years, and is going to be a good solo carry pick, then Tryndamere is definitely the champion for you. If you're looking to learn more about top lane, then make sure to check out our website, GameLeap.com, where we have a course on the top lane essentials. We also have courses on the other 4 fundamental roles, as well as champion-specific courses. So if that is something that interests you, then make sure to check us out using the link in the description below. Now, starting off with Tryndamere, the first thing that we need to cover is his passive. If you're doing a poor job manipulating Tryndamere's Fury in the laning phase, you're going to have a lot harder time dealing damage because you're not going to be able to crit nearly as often. The most important thing to know in order to not lose any Fury is that your Fury is going to decay after you haven't hit anything for 8 seconds. If you see your Fury start to decay, you need to quickly make a decision. Either you use your Q and consume the Fury because you know you're not going to be able to hit anything before you run out of Fury, or you try to hit something to make sure that you can keep that Fury. Remember, Fury is everything to Tryndamere. It makes his Q heal him for more, and it gives him more crit chance, giving him the chance to double the amount of damage his autos do. So, what are some basic rules for generating the most Fury that you possibly can to try and keep yourself topped off at 100 Fury for the majority of the game? Rule number 1 is auto attacks are always going to generate more Fury for you than Eing through a wave. Just because you can insta-kill a wave by Eing through it does not mean that you should. You can get more Fury from a wave by autoing a few times and then Eing than just one-shotting the whole wave with your E. Remember that dealing or receiving any damage will stop your Fury from decaying. This means that you can walk up and take a tower shot in order to stop your Fury from decaying if you're at 100 Fury, and on top of that, you can also just Tiamat something. You don't necessarily need to auto or spin. One thing that I'll frequently do is Tiamat camps over the wall to stop my Fury from decaying if I have Fury when I'm pathing past them. Now, if it's an enemy camp, then I'll always opt to just take the camp instead, but a lot of the time I won't want to take the camp if it's my camp because I'm not looking to starve my jungler of too much gold. Try to be as creative as possible in finding ways to keep your Fury as high as possible. This should be your primary focus throughout the laning phase. Until you have Fury mastered, you are going to have to focus in order to generate as much Fury as possible, and if you do this, then you're going to be able to output a lot more damage, you're going to be able to heal more, and your Tryndamere play is just going to be better in general. Now let's cover some basic tips for Tryndamere's abilities. Remember, this champion is very simple and straightforward, so you're going to be able to do these things just by knowing about them. First and foremost, don't put points in your ultimate's ability past the first point until you're hitting level 17 and 18. The only thing that this is going to do is make the ultimate generate more Fury, which you should already be at max Fury when you are ulting, so that won't change. It'll lower the cooldown, which you're going to be building a lot of CDR, so that won't really change. And it will slightly increase the minimum health that you will hit, which is not really a change at all. Your points are better invested in other abilities rather than putting more points into your ultimate. You should only look to use your W when the enemy is hard committing to a trade on you, either to lower their AD, or when you think they're going to run away from you in order to apply that slow. The only other acceptable usages of your W are to get an assist on somebody, or to lower everyone's AD in a team fight. At max rank, your W lowers everyone's attack damage by 80 in the radius for 4 seconds. This is going to lower the damage output for most AD champions by an insane amount. Speaking of Tryndamere's W, you should constantly be looking at it, especially if there is nobody in your lane. You can use this ability to tell whether or not anyone is within range of you, so you should always be looking at it. If there's nobody on your screen in your field of vision, but your W lights up, that means that either somebody is stealthed right next to you, or somebody is in a brush right next to you. This makes it very hard to gank Tryndamere if they know about this trick. Now, the last thing I want to cover is using your Q as efficiently as possible. If you are going to use your Q for sustain in the laning phase, then you're going to want to use your Q while you are in the middle of an auto attack animation. By doing this, your auto attack will still have whatever % chance to crit, but you can generate fury off of that auto attack. So if you're level 5 and you have 100 fury stacked up and you want to heal, then you want to wait for your auto to start its animation before using your Q. This will heal you for the full amount, give your auto attack a 35% chance to crit, and make that auto attack still generate fury for you. On top of this, you want that auto attack to be a last hit if possible, because last hitting creeps generates more fury than just a normal auto attack would. This provides the lowest amount of downtime on your fury as possible. That is really just about it for mechanics on Tryndamere that you need to know about. Like I said, he's very simple, very straightforward. There isn't all too much else. You can E flash to move your hitbox, but that's about it, and that is about the only advanced mechanic that Tryndamere has. Now, let's talk about general play style for Tryndamere. What should you be looking to do in each and every game in order to win your games? Well, like I said, Tryndamere is one of the most simple and straightforward champions in the entire game, so the only thing that you ever want to be doing is split pushing, and this is in every single game. You want to go to the lane that is opposite of objectives whenever you can, split push, hit towers, kill enemy champions and dive them under towers if they show up to try and 1v1 you, and end the game by yourself. This is what Tryndamere does better than pretty much any other top laner in the game. If Tryndamere snowballs in the early laning phase, then suddenly there are very few champions that can survive his dive, and then he's just going to take the tower right afterwards. One thing that will help you take towers faster on Tryndamere is if you know that nobody else is around you after you successfully dove somebody, don't use your Q. That's going to heal you, and it's going to make the Q give you less attack damage for the passive portion. Tryndamere thrives off of being low HP. Not only does he benefit from last stand while being low HP, but he also gets a bunch of bonus AD from his Q. Now, the last stand bonus does only apply to champions, but the Q bonus applies to everything, so you should only be healing if you need to. Okay, so now we know that we want to set up in a side lane, split pushing, we want to kill our laner if they show up in that side lane, and we're going to dive them if we have enough of a lead. After a fight, we're not going to heal right away, and we're going to use the bonus AD given from our Q in order to push waves faster, and to take towers faster. But what if it's not a 1v1? What if multiple people are coming to your lane to shut you down? This is definitely the hardest part about playing Tryndamere. Since the champion is so dominant in 1v1s and is so heavily rewarded for fighting, a lot of the time you're going to be winning 1v1s, which means they're going to send additional people to help deal with you. So in this situation, what do? Do you just fight every single person that shows up? Well, no, this isn't really ideal, and you're probably just going to die with that. You might not even take away a kill. What you want to do is play passive until you see everyone else on the map, and then you can play aggressive in your lane. Tryndamere doesn't have any problem taking towers, and the towers aren't going to get up and walk away, so you have plenty of time to just chill out and wait until you see the enemy champions on the map somewhere that isn't near your lane. If everyone is close to your lane, then you just continue to chill, keep farming, and scaling. There's no big rush to try and end the game quickly. You wait for them to go away and do their thing, and then you go for your play. There are not very many champions that outscale Tryndamere, so it's okay to just take the game slowly. Remember that split pushing does not work if you're just perma-fighting in a lane trying to ram down their towers without giving a care in the world who is in your lane and how many people you're fighting against. If you're unsure of where the enemy team is, then you should roam into the enemy jungle whenever you have priority on a wave and drop a ward. You use these deep wards in the enemy jungle to tell you when somebody is rotating towards you, so you know when to back off of the tower or back off of a 1v1. Remember, Tryndamere is very, very simple at his core, and all he takes is the knowledge and discipline to play him. That is all that I have for you guys today for today's short little guide on Tryndamere. If you've been enjoying our content lately and you want more, then make sure to check out our website, GameLeap.com. There we have hundreds of guides, all done by challenger players, sorted into a quick and easy to use courses system. We have courses both on the 5 fundamental roles, as well as champion specific courses. So if that is something that interests you, then make sure to sign up today using the link in the description below. As always, I'm Panther, I hope you learned something valuable, and I will see you in the next one.